Fear. It's the invisible chain that holds us back, keeping us from reaching our true potential. But what if I told you that some of the biggest fears you have are just illusions? Today, we're counting down the top 5 fears you must overcome to unlock your best life. Let's dive in. Number 5, the fear of failure. Have you ever felt like you weren't good enough? Like no matter how hard you try, failure is just around the corner? Maybe you've avoided taking risks because the thought of failing feels unbearable. Why do we fear failure so much? The truth is, it's wired into us. Back in the days of our ancestors, failing often meant life or death. If you messed up while hunting or gathering food, you might not survive. Our brains still react to failure as if it's a threat to our survival, even though in today's world, failure is usually just a temporary setback. Then there's social conditioning. From a young age, we're taught that success is good and failure is bad. Get good grades, win the game, get the promotion. If you don't, people might judge you. Over time, this pressure builds up, making us fear failure more than we should. But here's the problem: fear of failure stops us from taking action. Think about all the things you've wanted to do but never tried. Fear of failure also makes us settle. Instead of aiming high, we stay in our comfort zones where it's safe. But comfort zones don't lead to growth. How do we overcome it? First, redefine failure. Instead of seeing it as proof that you're not good enough, see it as a stepping stone. Every failure is a lesson that gets you closer to success. Think of failure as feedback. Second, take small steps. Fear feels overwhelming when we look at the big picture, but breaking things down makes them manageable. Another big one: stop overthinking. Fear of failure grows when we overanalyze every possible outcome. The truth is, no amount of worrying will change the future. Action is the only thing that moves you forward. Finally, accept that failure is part of the process. You will fail. That's a guarantee. But the most successful people fail the most because they're willing to try. Every failure is just another step towards success. Number 4, rejection. Rejection isn't just uncomfortable. It can feel downright painful. But why? It all comes down to biology and psychology. Our ancestors lived in tribes, and being rejected or cast out from the group could mean death. Over time, our brains evolved to associate rejection with a real threat to survival. Today, even though we don't need to worry about getting kicked out of the tribe, our brains still react as if rejection is life-threatening. In fact, studies have shown that rejection activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. That's why a simple no can sometimes feel like a punch to the gut. The fear of rejection isn't just a bad feeling. It actively limits our lives. It stops us from taking risks. It lowers our self-esteem. It affects our relationships. So, how do we overcome the fear of rejection? Reframe rejection as redirection. Instead of seeing rejection as a personal failure, view it as a redirection towards something better. Every rejection is feedback. Desensitize yourself to rejection. One of the best ways to stop fearing rejection is to experience it more often. There's a concept called rejection therapy, where you deliberately put yourself in situations where you might be rejected. Separate your worth from the outcome. Rejection doesn't define you. Just because someone says no doesn't mean you're not valuable, lovable, or capable. When you learn to separate your self-worth from external validation, rejection loses its sting. Shift your perspective on failure. Fear of rejection often stems from a fear of failure. But failure is just a stepping stone to success. Number 3, change. Whether it's switching careers, moving to a new city, ending a relationship, or just stepping out of our comfort zone, change can feel terrifying. Let's start by understanding the root of this fear. Psychologists say that our brains are wired to seek safety and familiarity. Change, by its very nature, introduces uncertainty, and our instinctive response is often to resist it. But here's the truth. Staying in your comfort zone might feel safe, but it also keeps you stuck. Growth happens outside of that zone. Avoiding change might feel comfortable, but it comes with a hidden cost. If you refuse to change, you might be missing out on amazing possibilities. Life moves forward whether we like it or not. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. Now, let's talk solutions. Reframe change as growth. Instead of seeing change as a threat, see it as an opportunity to learn and evolve. Ask yourself, what's the best that could happen? Take small steps. Change doesn't have to be drastic. Break it down into manageable steps. Embrace uncertainty. Accept that uncertainty is part of life. Instead of fearing it, learn to adapt and trust that you'll figure things out along the way. Practice self-compassion. You will make mistakes, and that's okay. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Surround yourself with support. Talk to friends, mentors, or even therapists. Being around positive, action-taking people makes change feel less scary. Number 2, public speaking. Public speaking is ranked as one of the top fears in the world. Some studies even say people fear it more than death. But why? Well, it's usually because of 3 main reasons. Fear of judgment. What if they think I'm not good enough? Fear of failure. What if I mess up and embarrass myself? Fear of the unknown. What if something unexpected happens? The truth is, these fears are normal, but they don't have to control you. Let's break down how to overcome them. The number 1 secret to confidence: preparation. The more prepared you are, the less you'll worry. Here's what you can do. Outline your speech, know your key points. Practice in front of a mirror or record yourself. Rehearse in front of a small group of friends or family. Channel that nervous energy into excitement. Try these techniques. Take deep breaths before speaking. Visualize yourself speaking confidently. Use positive self-talk. Say things like, "I got this." Do a quick physical warm-up. Shake off the tension. Your mind and body are connected. If you tell yourself you're confident, your body will follow. Here's a pro tip. Focus on connecting with your audience instead of worrying about yourself. Make eye contact with different people in the crowd. Use hand gestures and body language to appear natural. Speak conversationally. Imagine you're just talking to a friend. Ask questions or use humor to keep people engaged. Let's be real, mistakes happen. Even the best speakers slip up. But here's the key: keep going. If you forget something, take a deep breath and pause. It's okay. Laugh it off if appropriate. Audiences love authenticity. Have a backup plan. Bullet points can help if you lose track. Number 1, the fear of being judged. Why do we care so much about what others think? Well, it goes way back. Our ancestors survived by being part of a tribe. Being accepted meant safety. Fast forward to today, and while we're not exactly fending off wild animals, our brains still see social rejection as a threat. This is why public speaking, standing out, or simply being different can feel so terrifying. But here's the thing. Most of the time, people aren't judging you nearly as much as you think. We all have something called the spotlight effect, which makes us believe others are paying more attention to us than they actually are. Let's break it down. The fear of being judged usually comes in 3 forms. Fear of embarrassment. We don't want to look stupid or make mistakes. Fear of rejection. We're afraid of not being accepted. Fear of failure. We worry about not meeting expectations. The crazy thing is, these fears hold us back from living fully. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel but fear people's reactions. Maybe you have a creative idea but worry about criticism. Whatever it is, this fear stops you from reaching your full potential. So how do we break free from this fear? Realize people are focused on themselves. Most people are too busy thinking about their own lives to spend much time judging you. Think about it. How often do you deeply judge others? Probably not as much as you assume others are judging you. Question your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, "What if they think I'm weird?" Ask yourself, so what? What's the worst that could happen? Most of the time, the worst-case scenario isn't even that bad. Focus on your own growth. Ask yourself, do I want to live for the approval of others, or do I want to live for myself? Every successful person has been judged at some point, but they didn't let that stop them. Fear is just a story we tell ourselves, but you have the power to rewrite it. Which fear are you ready to conquer? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring content.